Amazing Spider-Man issue number 25 is officially out, and the issue itself is a doozy. So let's get into it. After MJ sends Peter away, Paul wants to leave the house because Robin is still after them. They do eventually leave after a few months and go on the run until they encounter two kids who, weirdly enough, look after them, and those are their kids, if you're confused at all. So the next portion of this issue has MJ and Paul build a house, and they both become closer, and they raise these kids in this weird universe or dimension. And might I just remind you, MJ sent Peter away, and Peter is continually trying to get her back and go back to this dimension, but whatever, let's just forget that. Anyway, they're having fun and connecting as a family, and some years have gone by at this point, and then Robin finally finds them and attacks them, thank God. To defend themselves, MJ uses a machine that creates cotton candy, and no, I'm not joking or anything, this is what happens. Anyway, the cotton candy machine isn't working, and all looks lost until Peter comes in and beats Robin, and then Paul stabs him, and Peter tries to kiss his girlfriend, but is surprised she has a family, like any boyfriend would be at this point. So then we pick up when MJ is actually telling the story, like when they return to their proper dimension. After that, Peter then leaves the hospital they're in, which they're just taking care of Paul. And while he's walking home, he's confronted by the Fantastic Four. Great. They act really out of character, and then a fight breaks out between both of Peter and the Fantastic Four while he's in his civilian clothes, I might add. I should say though, Peter is also acting like a jerk, and he even throws the first punch. Classic Peter Parker thing to do. He even says that he wants someone to hit him back. Uncle Ben would be really proud of this guy. Classic Peter Parker, just classic. Thankfully though, Captain America breaks up the fight and says they're leaving. Thank God. So after all that nonsense, it's revealed in the last few pages that Raban is gonna come after MJ. Ooh. Honestly, on my second read, I thought this was, pretty awful. On my third read, I have to admit it's still pretty awful. But just not as terrible as I thought it would be. Paul isn't really a character, he's just a plot device to make sure that Peter and MJ aren't together. MJ and Paul's relationship isn't interesting. It's presented in a pretty bland way in this issue, not to lie. I don't know why. The kids aren't interesting either, and they're just kind of there. They take up a lot of time and space in any issue they're in. Zebwell obviously doesn't really care that much to make these characters interesting in any manner. Otherwise, he would make more interesting dialogue. He just needs them, so MJ has a reason she's not with Peter. The Fantastic Four themselves are weirdly mishandled. They're not in character at all. They never really apologize for their actions in the last issues or so. I wouldn't have a problem with this if both the Fantastic Four and Peter hadn't known each other for decades or more, as close as they were. I mean, he knows their children and it feels like he's babysat them from every now and then. But maybe I'm just misremembering things. Or maybe Zeb Wells is just a terrible writer. Either way, don't get me wrong, Peter is still a jerk here, but in a story filled with a lot of jerks and morally questionable characters, it's kind of difficult to root for anyone or feel any connection to anyone. Weird. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, I'll be talking about a better story. See ya.